But first today, ex-NYPD officer Michael Valva learned his fate in the death of his 8-year-old son, Thomas. Our crime reporter, Krista McNally, has been following this trial throughout and was in the courtroom when the sentence was handed down. Good evening, Krista.
Good evening, Joe. That's right. Michael Valva sentenced to 25 years to life for the death of his 8-year-old son, Thomas. Now, Judge William Condon today thanked everybody who participated in this trial and said it was one of the most stressful trials that he has ever been a part of. And also today we heard from Michael Valva, who for the first time spoke. Take a listen.
I am truly sorry.
43-year-old Michael Valva sobbing, saying he is heartbroken and grief-stricken by the death of his son, 8-year-old Thomas Valva.
Never in my worst nightmare would I imagine being responsible for Thomas's death.
Valva was found guilty of forcing his two boys, Thomas and Anthony, 8 and 10 years old, to sleep in an unheated garage for months. He deprived the boys of food. He both physically and verbally abused them. He denied them access to the bathroom and did not allow them to have blankets or a pillow.
Thomas lived as a prisoner, given a death sentence that was executed.
On the morning of Thomas's death, January 17, 2020, it was bitterly cold outside, 19 degrees, and Valva hosed down the child outside, yelled at him in an expletive-filled rant, and slapped him several times as the child collapsed over and over. It was determined that 8-year-old little boy died of hypothermia. His body temperature taken at the hospital was 76.1 degrees.
8-year-old Thomas was in the throes of death that freezing cold January morning, and this defendant called him, and I quote, a f***ing slob, a f***ing moron, and a little f***er. Because as he was dying, he was defecating and urinating.
Valva's attorneys have said throughout this trial, while Michael was not a good father, he did love his 3 sons, and they said they plan on appealing this conviction.
He sent himself to a time of regret and remorse, and that basically summarizes this entire case.
Judge William Condon says he doesn't think Valva intended to kill Thomas. However, Thomas and Anthony, he says, lived their young lives under constant duress in a place where they should have felt safest.
Everybody who took part in this trial lost sleep, didn't eat, had nightmares. It was difficult for everyone.
Now, Valva's co-defendant, Angela Polina, will begin her trial in February. As for Valva, he is now serving 25 years to life, and as the prosecution said, he'll be getting many of the things that he denied his children, like heat, a bed, and 3 meals a day. Joe?
That's a good point there, Krista. Now, this has been such an emotional trial. Can you describe the atmosphere inside the courtroom today?
Well, it was a packed courthouse today. People were even clapping after the sentence was given to Valva. And there were many people inside of that courtroom, including teachers from the East Moriches Elementary School, who, as you'll remember, many of them took the stand and were crying as they did so, explaining what happened to the 2 little boys. And many jurors were also present.